Today we're going to talk about why are there two loans involved, understanding exactly the power of the buy and the refinance loan, and how it creates the wealth behind BRRRR. Once you own a property, you could refinance a property and use all the equity that's in the property. Using traditional lending and other kinds of long-term loans, when you buy a property, you're not able to use that equity. Even if you found a property that was 50% loan to value, the long-term loans do not look at what value you're walking into. They're just looking at the lower of the purchase price and appraised value. That's why you must own a property first, because once you own it, you get to refinance it and use all the power and all the equity that's in there to your advantage. Let's just look at what happens with an investment property if you purchase it using a traditional loan versus an investor-friendly loan. Let's look at an example here of a property that has a value of $400,000, appraised value, ARV of $400,000. And we're going to purchase it for $300,000. We're using the BRRRR method. We're finding properties under market, and we're buying this for less than it's worth. And in this case, in this scenario, let's just say the property is rent ready. We're not getting into rehab, because this is all about just understanding why you need two loans. If you were to use a traditional loan, like a 30-year fixed Fannie Freddie conventional, they're going to look at a purchase, and per their underwriting guidelines, per what they have to do, their rules, they require that they can only use the lower of the appraised value or purchase price. So as you're purchasing it for $300,000, even if it's worth $400,000, they're going to require a 20% commitment from you on the lower of the two numbers. What you're going to find using a traditional loan on the purchase is you're going to put in money, you're going to have a lower loan. That's not what BRRRR was set up for. BRRRR is set up to use as little money and more leverage as you can. This is more traditional purchasing of properties. And this is for the people who want to go that traditional way. We're looking at investor-friendly loans. We're looking at the buy side, because remember, once you own it, you could refinance it with a traditional loan or other loans using appraised value. Even if it's 1 or 2 days, you just have to own it. Then the underwriting opens up. You get to use everything at your disposal. So we're looking at an investor-friendly loan, because investor-friendly loans look at, on the purchase, what it's worth, not what you're buying it for. They're looking at what it's worth. So in this case, our numbers, an investor-friendly lender can lend up to that $300,000. No money out of your pocket at the purchase of the BRRRR. Part of BRRRR is refinancing, using the refinance to your advantage. What we want to look at is what's the difference now that you own the property if you purchased it with a traditional loan instead of an investor-friendly loan. We want to make sure you're using the highest leverage. That's what BRRRR is all about. No money out of your pocket, all money using leverage and other people's money. Let's look at the difference between the traditional purchase and using the investor-friendly purchase. The first thing you have to understand when you're refinancing using a traditional loan or a DSCR loan or even a bank loan, are there different LTV, loan-to-value requirements or allowances on loans, depending on if it's cash out, meaning you're getting money out of the property, or rate and term, which means you're just paying off the old loan. Typically, it's 5 to 10% less, usually 5% on the cash out, less money loan that you will get than a rate and term. So we're going to look at the two examples. Remember, on the traditional, we bought it. It's worth $400,000, and we have a loan for $240,000. In this case, we're going to have to do a cash out because we want money. We want the most money back into our pockets. Because remember, in the cash out, we put $60,000 down. We want some of that money back. Currently we have a loan for $240,000, and we have a value of a property at $400,000. We're looking at a month or two into it. The value hasn't really changed. We have a loan for $240,000. If we're looking at doing a refinance now of that traditional loan, we want part of our money back. They're going to, on a conforming, limit us to 70% of the $400,000. Or they'll give us a loan for $280,000, which means we still have money into this property. That's not what we're looking at for BRRRR. We're looking to get into this with zero money. Now the investor-friendly loan, we have a loan for $300,000. That's what we owe the lender for the investor friendly. Since we owe it and all we're going to do is pay off this loan, we get to use rate and term because we're not getting cash out, we're just paying off someone else. By using the investor friendly loan, you're going to see the power. So in this case, 75% of $400,000 magically becomes $300,000. Once again, we're using examples so you understand this. This means it's really using BRRRR to where it's supposed to be. Zero money out. Once we're able to use the buy and refinance part of it, and you set this up correctly, that's where the knowledge, that's where planning and understanding this goes in. Because so many people get into this, and then pretty soon they have 20 grand, they have 60 grand into the property, and they're like, that's not what I was expecting. I was expecting to get all my money back and then repeat it. You can't do that and understand it unless you know how this actually works. Where are the numbers? How are they coming through? So number one, when we were talking about this, the key is you have to own it to refinance it. Two is you have to use an investor-friendly lender upfront to do the purchase because they're going to maximize how much you could get at the purchase. And the third thing is when you get to the refinance, by using the correct investor-friendly lender, you're going to maximize what you could get out of that property and lower exactly what you have to have into it. Ideally, you have zero into this property. Remember, it takes money to make money. We're talking about mastering money here and understanding the leverage side of BRRRR and other investment products out there. Stay tuned. We have more videos on this BRRRR. We're going to go through some of the nuances, some of the other things that you have to look at to be very successful in BRRRR. If you have any questions, reach out to us. Our email is below. And as we say, happy investing.